It's not about black and white. It's about that white player and that black player. Why? Because of the history that they had before they came to the WNBA. You see, it was all instigated. If Angel Reese was never in Caitlin Clark's face, taunting her the way that she did when they mimicking what Caitlin Clark was doing to numerous opponents en route to the Final Four. And then Angel Reese and LSU bust their living, you know what, at that particular moment in time. And Angel Reese was in her face chirping at her the way that she did. It would have never gotten to this point.
Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back when he weighed in on the controversy involving Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. What started as backlash over a comment turned into a heated national debate. Angel Reese's remarks stirred the pot, but Stephen A. turned up the heat. Didn't just respond. He delivered a powerful, no-nonsense statement calling out double standards, media bias, and what he saw as fake outrage. This wasn't your typical sports opinion. It was a bold and passionate call-out that hit hard and made headlines. If things were already tense, Stephen A. made sure no one could ignore the deeper issues at play.
Unfortunately, it comes with the crown.
I got to push back on you a little bit.
Okay.
I think you're being a little bit too PC. Let's call it what it is. I am not trying to say that she should be criticized or she is wrong. What I'm saying is by pulling it down, clearly you felt there was something wrong with it. Now, yes, you are 22. Yes, you are young. And there's a lot of things that we didn't want people to know about when we were her age. Fair enough, especially me, okay? Because I'm 30 plus years removed from that age. I got that part. There was no social media then or whatever. But here's my point to you. She knows this social media. She is not dumb. She's quite a brilliant young lady. Nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlin Clark is out with the quad strain. And the reason why is because, let me tell you something right now. I'm not going to go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other players hate Caitlin Clark. But I will say this. I don't think it's specific about Caitlin Clark. I think it's what Caitlin Clark represents.
Stephen A. Smith came in strong with a powerful response to Angel Reese's comments, laying out his case with facts, passion, and purpose. He didn't just disagree, he dismantled her argument point by point, like a lawyer making closing remarks in a high-stakes trial. Angel's misstep wasn't just a poor choice of words, it set off a wave of backlash. And Stephen A. didn't hold back in showing why it mattered. His tone said, "This is exactly what I've been warning about," and his message was clear. This kind of controversy is holding the league back. It wasn't just a reaction. It was a serious call-out on live TV, delivered with the precision of someone who's seen this play out before.
This was a basketball play. You understand? It was the heat of the moment. I got it. The fact that the Sky was getting romped by 35 certainly didn't help matters. I get all of that too. Okay. But the reality of the situation is clear. I think it was a basketball play. I don't think it's much ado about anything. I think both of you are 100% correct in terms of not only attributing it to competition, but loving the fact that they're being allowed to compete. We should not judge.
Stephen A. Smith kicked things off with his trademark, "Let me say this," which, for longtime viewers, means get ready, the real talk is coming, and it definitely did. He went straight at the double standards, delivering his message with full force, like a man on a mission. It wasn't just commentary, it sounded like a sermon aimed right at the heart of the issue. Angel Reese came out strong, clearly trying to make a statement. But in the process, she missed the mark. If you're going to speak out, you've got to back it up, and this time, she didn't. Instead of making a solid point, she threw out accusations that felt more like noise than substance. The moment went viral, but probably not in the way she hoped.
One of the footages they show was Angel Reese getting up and clapping and stuff like that. They keep their eyes on stuff like this. So here's where I'm going where the rivalry kicks in. Angel Reese, the reason why, obviously, the whole Caitlin Clark Angel Reese thing happened was because when they met in the NCAA tournament in 2023, when Angel Reese was doing all of this, because Caitlin Clark had been doing that to her opponents when she got the best of them. So Angel Reese and LSU got the best of her, and that's what she did unapologetically, okay?
Yes, Angel Reese stood by her words, but Stephen A. didn't let anything slide. He broke down everything. The timing, the tone, the way she delivered it. He even questioned whether she'd been more focused on social media drama than on her game. Stephen A. approached the topic like a skilled surgeon, precise, focused, and cutting right to the heart of it. And he added just enough heat to keep things fiery. His message was simple: if you've got an issue with Caitlin Clark, settle it on the court, not in interviews or online like you're trying out for a reality show. The way he spoke, it felt less like a sports segment and more like a spotlight on a bigger problem, one he made sure no one could ignore.
She balled at Iowa in college. She's balled since she's been in the NBA. She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being fourth in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table.
Angel Reese brought her perspective, but once Stephen A. Smith caught a hint of contradiction, he locked in like a heat-seeking missile. He didn't just call out Angel, he went after the whole wave of selective outrage surrounding the conversation. What began as a response to one player turned into a powerful message on personal responsibility. Stephen A. laid it all out: athletes, fans, and media personalities who seem more focused on going viral than putting in the work. In his eyes, performance is being overshadowed by social media noise and empty gestures. He came ready, with facts, passion, and sharp reasoning. And he made one thing clear: Caitlin Clark's role in the WNBA isn't just about talent, it's historic.
Jackie Robinson of the WNBA will be Caitlin Clark. If she stays healthy, there's a group of them that would hope for her to be out. But
why do you say she's going to be the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA?
Well,
it's not like she's the first white girl.
She's not the first white girl, but she's the first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care. When's the last time we watched like college basketball? If I told you, tell me the greatest college basketball female basketball players last 30 years, and you watch, I know her, she's our meat, but you look at some of these names, you see some of these people on how they do.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just respond to Angel Reese, he used the moment to shine a light on a much bigger issue. While she took most of the heat, he widened the lens, calling out a culture where identity politics and social media noise often mask poor sportsmanship and missed performance. It was less about one player and more about a pattern he sees across today's sports world. Chasing clout instead of focusing on the game. It was as if the crowd that only shows up for outrage handed him a list of contradictions, and he read every line out loud. Somewhere, you can imagine Skip Bayless watching, taking notes, and quietly admitting, now that's how you deliver a message. Stephen A. became the booming voice of accountability in basketball, cutting through the noise with intensity and clarity. What made his words hit so hard wasn't just the volume, it was the substance. He didn't just criticize, he broke down the problem piece by piece, leaving little room for spin or excuses. His frustration felt deeply personal, driven by a real sense of disappointment. One moment he sounded like a stern mentor, the next like a courtroom closer delivering a final argument. At that point, it was less a sports take and more a call to action, a demand for integrity, focus, and respect for the game. And honestly, you couldn't help but feel a little bad for Angel Reese. Not because of what she said, but because of the tidal wave of truth that followed.
Actually feel bad for Angel Reese at this point, and it has nothing to do with like how she's handled herself or anything. It's just simply Caitlin Clark is so much better than Angel Reese at basketball that it doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, I think Angel Reese is struggling with the fact that Caitlin Clark is better at her best thing than she is.
She's better at everything.
And
she had a triple-double. She's tied for the third most triple-doubles in WNBA history, and she's played 50 games.
Yeah.
Stephen A. Smith didn't just weigh in. He delivered a televised reckoning. It all started with Angel Reese's controversial comments, which sparked a fresh round of debate around Caitlin Clark. But while the backlash focused on Reese, Stephen A. took things to another level. He opened with his trademark, "Let me say this," and from that moment on, you knew it wasn't going to be just another hot take. He dove straight into the heart of the issue, calling out double standards, media bias, and a growing obsession with outrage over substance. It wasn't just about one player, it was about the bigger picture. He called it like he saw it: athletes and fans more focused on social media trends and viral moments than performance and accountability. Angel Reese's comments may have lit the match, but Stephen A. brought the fire, and made sure everyone felt the heat. He didn't hold back. With his usual sharp delivery, he broke down the problem from every angle: tone, timing, and message, questioning whether Reese had been more focused on stirring drama than staying sharp on the court. His message was clear: if you have a problem with another player, deal with it through the game, not a podcast or a Twitter rant. And it didn't stop with Reese. Stephen A. used the moment to hold a mirror up to the entire sports world, fans, media, and players included. He exposed how quickly identity politics and empty statements get used to cover up lackluster performance or poor sportsmanship. What could have been a quick reaction turned into something much bigger, a full-on call to accountability. His tone shifted from critique to conviction, turning commentary into something resembling a courtroom speech, or even a sermon. His frustration was real, rooted in disappointment with a sports culture that too often trades integrity for attention. By the time he was done, it wasn't just a mic drop, it felt like he launched the mic into space. And anyone hoping to respond had better be ready. Angel Reese did try to answer back online, but the internet had already run with Stephen A.'s message. His rant became memes, reaction videos, and viral posts, her image shifting in real time from Bayou Barbie to a case study in how fast public opinion can turn. In the end, beneath all the passion and punchlines, Stephen A. was saying something important, and whether people liked it or not, it rang true.
Can you just call a spade a spade? Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. This is not a new thing. Sure. This is, and in that way, I do think Caitlin's being used as a pawn. Mm-hmm. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, is what's been such a shock for all of us, that other people are surprised by this. Mm-hmm. We've been trying to tell you. And once again, for so long, as a player, I would almost joke. I'd be like, I would have loved to have shut up and dribble.
Most powerful part? Stephen A. Smith never even raised his voice. That's when you know he means business. When he gets quiet, focused, it's like the calm center of a storm. Controlled, deliberate, and somehow even more intense. 1 minute, he was calling out unfair narratives in sports. The next, he was casually comparing Caitlin Clark's jump shot to Beyoncé at Coachella. And yes, it somehow made perfect sense. Just when you thought the segment had reached its peak, he hit you with the real twist. Caitlin Clark hasn't said much of anything. She's just playing basketball, staying focused, and still managing to dominate the headlines, and yet, her presence alone seems to be living rent-free in the minds of half the WNBA. No lease, no security deposit, just vibes. Here's the irony. Clark is averaging over 20 points a game, drawing massive new viewership, and bringing national attention to a league that's long been fighting for recognition. You'd think that would be celebrated, but instead, some reactions from veteran players have felt more like, "Who does she think she is?" than, "Welcome to the league." It's starting to look less like healthy competition and more like a scene out of Mean Girls, with Caitlin cast as the new kid who's outperforming everyone and catching side eyes just for showing up and doing her job well.
Angel Reese is obviously and clearly taking too much heat because I believe a lot of people are using this situation as a cover for their innate vitriol and maybe their innate kind of racism or racial tension or racial misunderstanding. And now that they have been given a reason, at least the reason that they're going to try to take, which is Angel Reese reacting to Caitlin Clark's foul, now this is their opportunity to say what they always wanted to say, but they needed a mask put on to cover up the innate whether it's racism or the innate prejudice or just the innate hate that they have for Angel Reese and the way in which she carries herself. That's my issue with all of it.
Caitlin Clark has that rare it factor, the kind you can't teach. She brings a mix of long-range shooting like Steph Curry, down-to-earth Midwest attitude, and a jump shot so quick and clean it leaves defenders chasing air. She's not just good, she's changing the game, but instead of the celebration you might expect, her rise has triggered a wave of awkward interviews, loaded tweets, and passive-aggressive post-game comments. Suddenly, some veteran players act like her buzzer beaters are nothing more than routine weather updates. Let's be clear, those weren't breezes, they were earthquakes. And the footage shows the fallout in real time. The WNBA has worked hard to earn its place. Legends like Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Tamika Catchings helped build the league through grit, talent, and tireless advocacy, but Caitlin Clark didn't erase that legacy, she added to it. She's expanded the spotlight, brought in new fans, and helped the league break into spaces it struggled to reach for decades. She didn't crash the house. She renovated it, and yet, instead of embracing her impact, some players treat her presence like an intrusion. The truth? This isn't just about competition or court performance, it's about something deeper. It's resentment. And yes, it's tied to race. This is what internalized racism can look like. Subtle, unspoken, even unconscious, but very real. It's criticism that isn't always about what's said, but what isn't. And the discomfort around Caitlin's success reveals a long-standing tension in the league that needs to be addressed honestly if true progress is going to happen.
First of all, the WNBA has been increasing in revenue way before Caitlin Clark was even thought of. Also, There have been a lot of women in this industry and in the WNBA specifically who have been fighting and advocating for changes in the league way before Caitlin Clark even stepped foot in it. Yes, jealousy is a natural reaction and it's a natural emotion and it exists whether people want to own up to it or not. And are there people across both male and female who may have animosity towards Caitlin Clark for the attention and the awareness and the pedestal that she has been put on? Sure. To lump all women together just further perpetuates this narrative that women are unable to be happy for other women. And as a woman, I find that insulting because
it's like a Taylor Swift concert out there, except these same fans are now proudly wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys, tuning into her games, and treating her buzzer beaters like the Super Bowl's biggest moments. It's honestly a little sad, not in a dramatic, violins playing kind of way, but more like a frustrating, self-sabotaging kind of way. The WNBA should be rolling out the red carpet for Caitlin, showering her with endorsement deals and salary raises, like Oprah handing out gifts. Instead, there's this side-eye culture and cold shoulders during warm-ups, like we're watching a reality show called Basketball but Bitter, and don't even get me started on the private jet debates. These players fought hard for better travel conditions, less time stuck in layovers, more first-class flights. Now that the league has improved, and Caitlin's shining a spotlight on those gains, some still dismiss her success. That resistance isn't just about basketball. It's jealousy. It's internalized bias. Caitlin's rise isn't just about her skills, it's shining a light on the league's ongoing challenges with race, recognition, and progress. Just today, Caitlin's head coach stepped forward with a statement, and
your head coach came out with a statement today saying she denounces all the racism that some people have felt in this league, players, trolls online, all those things. As one of the biggest stars in this league, what are your thoughts on the things not only your teammates have to endure, but just the entire league? And obviously, you spoke on this before, but just now your coach and your GM are talking about it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think there's nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league.